want to talk about Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Diontae Johnson. Diontae Johnson, in his rookie season for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in 2019, had 680 receiving yards, which was second on the Pittsburgh Steelers team behind James Washington, 59 receptions, and he was targeted 92 times and 5 touchdowns. Diontae Johnson is going to break out for the Pittsburgh Steelers this upcoming NFL season in 2020. And I mean, in my opinion, he was the offensive MVP for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, because when Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner were both missing time due to injuries, Diontae Johnson stepped up. So imagine him with the numbers that he had this past season with Devlin Hodges and Mason Rudolph. Now imagine what he's going to be able to do with Ben Roethlisberger coming back fully healthy. You're going to have Juju Smith-Schuster, who would now be fully healthy now. And what Diontae Johnson does for Juju Smith-Schuster is that you're going to have to be able to account for him. Now NFL defenses and defensive coordinators, they're not going to be able to just specifically lock in on Juju Smith-Schuster, double team Juju Smith-Schuster, and take him out of the game plan. Now Diontae Johnson is going to force the hands of the defense that now you're going to have to account for both him and Juju Smith-Schuster as well. Then you also got to worry about James Washington as well. So, I mean, this Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiving core as a whole is looking really, really scary going into this upcoming NFL season. But I think Diontae Johnson, I think he has potential to be the number one wide receiver that we were expecting Juju Smith-Schuster to be. Now, the only thing that I'm worried that might hold back Diontae Johnson from breaking out is Ben Roethlisberger, because Ben Roethlisberger has a good relationship with Juju Smith-Schuster, and as we see in the past, Ben Roethlisberger, when he has a star receiver on his team, he tends to force feed that wide receiver. Like sometimes, like when Antonio Brown was playing, he used to force feed Antonio Brown the ball, and that ended up haunting the Pittsburgh Steelers a lot. When you go back a couple of years ago against the Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos, I believe it was 2018, we lost both of those games because Ben Roethlisberger was trying to force the ball to Antonio Brown on the goal line. So I think Ben Roethlisberger, now having him fully healthy with Diontae Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and James Washington now developing, that's really going to help out this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. But Diontae Johnson, I believe Diontae Johnson has potential to be more talented than any Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver on this roster as of right now, because of what he's able to do. He can play slot receiver. He can also play outside as well. And if Diontae Johnson ends up becoming better than Juju Smith-Schuster, then Juju Smith-Schuster can end up going to slot receiver, which I believe Juju Smith-Schuster is a lot better in the slot. I think he's one of the best slot wide receivers in the NFL. Some wide receivers just aren't made to be outside wide receivers. Some receivers are just good inside the slot. That might be the case with Juju, but I'm not going to say that yet, because I still want to see how good Juju Smith-Schuster can be as number one wide receiver under a full season playing with Ben Roethlisberger fully healthy. But I think Diontae Johnson has solidified himself as the number 2 target in this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I mean, this dude is exceptional. He can make plays with the ball in his hands. He also can make a lot of big down the field catches as well. He can be a good deep threat as well because of how good of a route runner that he is. So, I mean, Diontae Johnson, man, I think he's going to end up breaking out for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2020. Don't be surprised if you see Diontae Johnson end up becoming a Pro Bowler. I think he's going to end up having the potential to have 1,200 receiving yards, like 80 receptions, and I think Diontae Johnson will break out for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2020. So let me know what you guys think about Diontae Johnson down in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content, and thanks for watching.